Mike Sierra One can't handle the truth.
You're a cheat and a swindler. That's what you are. How can you do a thing like this?
I am authorized to assure you these rumors are based on hysteria and are absolutely false. I repeat, these rumors are absolutely false.
Welcome back. Once again, we will be taking a look at the relentless lies of Mike Zeroh. Have you ever noticed how Zeroh's channel is based on stories and leaks that only come from disorder and chaos within the ranks of Lucasfilm and Disney? If you took away all those elements, his channel wouldn't exist. So isn't it wonderful that he manages to get all those leaks, which serves his channel so well? For example, over the past 8 months, Zeroh has made 38 videos about Pedro Pascal. These videos include topics such as how much he hates the fans, how he's going to be replaced by Carl Urban, what he really thinks of Lucasfilm, and it goes on. It works out at roughly one video a week about how much he seemingly keeps biting the hand that feeds him. It's alarmingly frequent, don't you think? This also applies to Daisy Ridley, who recently came back into the Lucasfilm spotlight, which could mean something or nothing going forward. And yet Zeroh has always painted her as not gelling with those at Lucasfilm, more so, Kathleen Kennedy. Why would anyone rehire someone who has spilt the beans about what has happened on set, off set, how things were changed, cut and removed from the films that everyone worked so hard on? And here is a rather nice example of how Zeroh works for profit above content. He made a video titled, "New Star Wars movie leak will leave you speechless." This is huge, Star Wars explained. This video managed to get the highest views on any of his videos for some time. So after looking at his analytics and seeing how well that video did, he put out another video. It had an almost identical title to the previous one. New Star Wars movie leak just got even better. This will hype fans, Star Wars explained. Now, was this a week later, or a month later? No, it was the very next day. Once again I ask you, how can a leak be so fortuitous to someone whose channel relies on leaks as a news source? And not only that, but be based on a video that saw a shed load of views in stark comparison to others before it. And the simple answer is, when you make up your own stories, you can put up whatever you like. Now let's have some more Zeroh made up nonsense that revolves around the Skeleton Crew. Let's start here in a video that Zeroh made up about the said show and how Kathleen Kennedy has put her foot in it yet again. As with all Zeroh videos, the main antagonist is Kennedy and how she can't get anything right, which of course his subscribers want to hear.
Now it's described, however, that recently Kathleen Kennedy got into more trouble with Disney about one of her upcoming Star Wars projects for Disney+, where this is described to be Project Vortex that will feature Jedi Padawans that travel across the galaxy. However, it's noted that Kathleen Kennedy is currently pushing Disney to bring on actress Brie Larson to become a part of this second High Republic Star Wars show, to bring in the character Maeve that will be portrayed by Brie Larson in the Acolyte TV series and in Project Vortex as well. Kathleen Kennedy, however, is pressing Disney to make her appearance happen in another show, Project Vortex, that will feature Larson as one of the Jedi Masters that will be explored in the new series. Now, Disney, however, is not on board with Larson joining a second Star Wars TV show in the first place, and that since Kathleen Kennedy has full creative power over the series, she recently made some changes and adjustments to the overall story and the outline of the show to fit in Brie Larson's character without Disney's permission.
So this is Project Vortex, a show that is based on young Padawans traveling through, or lost in space, a show he claims to be a complete rip-off of Stranger Things. What I can tell you is this. Like the Acolyte, Brie Larson is not playing Maeve in that show, so it stands to reason that she will not be playing that non-existent character in the Skeleton Crew either. Also, this show was not filmed under the guise of Project Vortex. It was announced on May 17, 2022 under the codename of Grammar Rodeo and will be set after Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi. Now listen very carefully to this dialogue which comes from Chris Ford and John Watts during Star Wars Celebration from around May the 27th, 2022. It clearly shows John and Dave are also on stage and will be involved with the Skeleton Crew from the start, so heaven knows why Zeroh came out with this months later, which I will play right after this.
Where it takes place in the Star Wars timeline?
Well, I mean, we're cruising it with these wonderful gentlemen here, and So luckily we get to fold it into that, you know, after Return of the Jedi, Ahsoka, Mandalorian time frame.
Yeah. All connected in weird ways. Good. Is this
Most recently, Favreau has been making some changes behind the scenes that were approved by the Disney higher-ups and Bob Iger himself. This time around, that of course interfered with Kathleen Kennedy. As of late, Kennedy has been having issues with the Skeleton Crew series, with a couple of reshoots that have been taking place, and Disney has been fed up with the setbacks lately. This gave Disney the right to interfere with Favreau now coming on board to help fix a big portion of Skeleton Crew as a series, and is beginning to take over Kathleen Kennedy's show piece by piece to not only speed up production, but to also enhance the story. Now, it's noted that Favreau currently is bringing in Ahsoka Tano as well as other cameos as characters into the storyline of Skeleton Crew and is trying to help Jon Watts. We already know that the Skeleton Crew show is going to involve a mysterious location called the New Beyond. Now, we're not quite sure what the New Beyond really means. It could very well be a new galaxy. It could also refer to the unknown regions for all we know. Or it could very well be something that is entirely new that we have never seen before in the Star Wars franchise at all, not even in Legends. So the New Beyond has a lot to do with the story of Skeleton Crew and exactly how the characters are trying to find their way back home. By the way, this show is the Stranger Things in Space project by Kathleen Kennedy. Basically, it's a show that was copying the Stranger Things series on Netflix piece by piece.
That clip came from a video dated the 7th of December 2022, and as you just heard, Zeroh has claimed that Favreau has ousted Kennedy from one of her own shows yet again, and has taken control along with Jon Watts and Christopher Ford. He has introduced Ahsoka into the show as well as a mysterious place in space known as the New Beyond. But these are just rumors that Zeroh has lifted from articles that appeared the day before he made his video. He took circulating rumors and turned them into leaks, information that only he has been made privy to. I have said it so many times that Zeroh has no sources. He just scrubs the internet for stories and then turns them into his own little scam fiction. If you go with the rumor mill, Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew seem to be on the same page, chronologically, as both Skeleton Crew and Ahsoka have been filming at the same time, so it would make perfect sense that Jon and Dave are also involved with the Skeleton Crew. In fact, they are both executive producers on that show, again if you believe what you read, and not what you're told by a liar. Rumor has it that in the Ahsoka series, Thrawn and Ezra end up in the New Beyond for a time, prior to the events of Star Wars Rebels. This region is a completely new area within the Star Wars universe that differs from what has been read about in the books and comics. This region also views and uses the Force differently from what Star Wars stories have done in the past. We also know that Lars Mikkelsen is playing Thrawn, haunting red eyes and all, so again it makes sense, if true, that these two shows are somehow intertwined. So why has Zeroh concocted a false narrative that Favreau has overtaken the show, when he and Dave were involved all along? Again, the simple answer, it's clickbait. So to summarize, in March 2022, Zeroh came out with another lying bait video, in which he tells you that Brie is in a show set in the High Republic, codenamed Project Vortex, about Padawans lost in space. 2 months after that, Jon, Dave, Chris and Jon Watts are all on stage together talking about the Skeleton Crew, and how it's all intertwined with The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, and is set in the same timelines along with the Return of the Jedi. And 7 months after that, rumors start to emerge about Thrawn, Ezra and Ahsoka somehow being connected to the Skeleton Crew, and one day later Zeroh comes out with another bait video claiming that Jon took over certain aspects of the show that has more than likely all but finished filming. Because if you look at the filming schedules, The Acolyte started filming in November, which means it would match up that Skeleton Crew wraps up right before that. Since Dave and Jon are executive producers on both Skeleton Crew and Ahsoka, it makes sense that they are both shooting at the same time and in the same location, according to StarWars.net. Zeroh has once again clearly lied and changed aspects of truth to fit his clickbaiting narrative, where only truth is known after the fact and never before. He just makes it sound like he has the jump on everyone, when in fact he just makes himself look like a complete idiot he well and truly is. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I hope we managed to shed some light on this fraudster once again. Thanks for watching, I'll see you again soon.